I don't typically do this, as I've said before, but I'm just gonna circle a place here, just like I did last week, because I had to take someone to the VA again today on what's today, Monday the 5th, I think, 5th or 6th, whatever day today is of June. Took someone down to the VA for his appointment. So with little time to kill, I drove over here to roughly 24th and Camelback, which is just to the east of Central Phoenix. And where I am at is the Camelback Colonnade, previously the Colonnade Mall. Prior to that, the Sears-Rhodes Center area, I believe, was what this place was called when it originally opened. I forget if this was 60s or 70s era, but the first place you're about to see here is Floor and Decor. And it occupies what was originally a Mervyn's that was built in the 70s as part of an expansion for the old mall. This was originally a dumbbell style mall, so you had two anchor stores at opposite ends of a single straight shot. And of course, with Floor and Decor, you don't really recognize the entrance as being Mervyn's anymore, but you look at the walls and the design in the walls, and it still says Mervyn's. So this is part of a expansion running to the south from the original mall from the 70s. They sealed up the entrance that was on this side, so you only have the one entrance for the parking lots, but a small piece of the mall still exists, and the store still has a mall entrance, but it's just not wide open like it was before. This building that you see with the Marshall sign is the old Rhodes department store. And this parking garage is built because this was kind of California to me, but having a freeway butt up right against the side here, that feels kind of California to me, where they kind of have to cram everything that they can into a small space. But this is the Piestewa Freeway, the 51. Originally opened at the Squaw Peak Parkway, but they changed it because, there are some terms with Native American peoples that have become offensive. And in the 2000s, Phoenix was looking to change the name of Squaw Peak and the Squaw Peak Parkway, and they renamed both after Lori Piestewa, who is a Native American woman killed in combat I believe in Afghanistan. Her partner Jessica Lynch was rescued from the Taliban, but unfortunately Lori Piestewa was killed before she could be rescued. But getting back to the subject of dead malls here. So you have a last chance in the basement in front of the old Mervyn's, and then you've got Marshall's here. I'm not sure where there were entrances. There's probably an entrance down here and down this alley. They had to build this garage because that freeway on the other side of the show didn't exist when this mall was first built. So to replace the displaced parking, they had to build that garage. And it does have a second story entrance connecting, because this was originally the Rhodes department store and it was a two-story store. So when this mall died, what they did was when this mall died, what they did was they sort of rebuilt the area as a power center, kind of a development. The anchor buildings both still exist. So the second story here contains offices of some sort. You can see they added some windows, so it's not so dungeon-like inside for the workers. And then the bottom floor, they replaced the old roads with Staples and Marshalls. So we're driving into what was originally part of the mall. Essentially, they demolished this north side of the mall and left the south side standing and finished off the front with exteriors. This is how you enter the last remnant of the old Colonnade Mall. There are escalators leading down to the basement and an elevator as well. There's a Nordstrom Last Chance, which is where they take their return goods and resell them. So you can pick up Doc Martens for pretty cheap. I mean, in the past I've seen Doc Martens for like, under $30, believe it or not, because they were used and returned. But yeah, still decent enough to sell without having to send them back to the manufacturer. So you can tell this wasn't a very big mall. I'm pretty sure that right there, that gap was originally a mall entrance. But this building housing Ulta and others was originally the Sears store. So here you have Old Navy as well, and Best Buy is also in the building. I don't think this Sears had 2 stories, but from what I've heard, it did have a basement. There is a place called Public Storage, and I'm guessing their storage facility is in the basement. That's where they operate. Likelihood is only the retail store occupied the ground level. The basement was probably the warehouse. I'm not sure if this row here with Cold Stone and Smashburger and whatever fast food restaurants on the corner there, I don't know if that was added on or not, but corn or something. I couldn't read the whole thing. But this will take us around the backside for a bit. See, all of this stuff might have been added on later, like PetSmart. I don't know if this was all part of the Sears anchor store or not, or how much of it was. But Public Storage right there. And I believe they might be operating out of the basement of the original Sears store. But like Fry's grocery store here was added on. Well, all this stuff may have been added on. And right now you can't make a full loop around the place because of the construction going on. You can't go all the way around, so I'm just making a U-turn here, or turning around. It's a bit tight, or at least it feels a little bit tight right now. Public storage. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is all added on, because that may have been the loading dock to Sears. And that may very well be the loading dock to Best Buy, I don't know. Well, maybe... yeah, maybe that is Best Buy's loading dock. This place feels a bit cramped. So you just kind of have to watch it when driving around here. Especially with its current configuration, it's not exactly easy to make some of the turns around here, just because the way these driveways stop, it's not an all-way stop everywhere. Like here, it surprisingly is an all-way stop. But back where the Marshalls and all that was located, it's not as easy to get out of there. I think this place used to be a mall back in the 90s, and they converted it into the power center you see now. Oh, they have Zupas here. I had been here previously and posted some Instagram photos. Okay, and it seems like you can't really turn around. You can't really turn here without running into somebody pulling out and stuff either. As you can see here, these corners feel a little tight to me, even in a compact like the Civic, when you've got larger vehicles coming through like these trucks and vehicles that happen to be pulling out at the time that you drive up. Anyway, I came here earlier in the year when the weather wasn't so warm, blazing hot really, because it says it's 105 on my thermometer here. But I did post an Instagram video clip of the interior of what's left of the mall, so I'll have to find the link for that and post it in the notes below. Yeah, I just think right now we're just driving through what used to be a mall, but without the chaos of the Blues Brothers. Mountain peeking up over there. I think that might be Paesto Peak. I don't typically drive through that area on service streets. If I've driven through that area, it's actually on the Paesto Freeway, which is oddly enough the only sort of mountain-like freeway in the Phoenix area. Simply because you typically see that type of freeway in, say, the LA area or San Diego area. See, this to me looks like there could have been an entrance there before for the department store. And this is bringing us back to where we started. See, that could have been an entrance or something there before. It's kind of hard to tell. I don't know, right here Mervin's had a parking lot entrance right here, but you know, Mervin's was still around the first time I ever came up here. I'm not sure what all this stuff in the parking lot is for. So most of the retailers here are retailers you'll find anywhere else. The only thing you might want to make a special trip for here, unless you just want to kind of take in the whole dead mall aspect of this place, you know, see what's left of the original, of the old Camelback Colonnade Mall. Probably about the only thing that might be worth your time to come up here really is to shop at Last Chance and see what you can find, if you can find any good deals. You know, usually it seems like what you see a lot more these days are Nordstrom Rack and Rack Room shoes, which I'm not sure if that's just simply a discount version of Nordstrom or if this is overstock and discontinued merchandise that they're selling there, but you know, it is more of a discount arm of Nordstrom. I mean, you walk into a Nordstrom department store and it's really nice. Like the one in the Chandler Mall is very up to date and modern by the looks of it. I mean, the second floor is all polished concrete, and I've noticed wide aisles. It's not so crammed full of racks that you feel like, like if you're a woman wearing a purse, it's not like you're gonna feel like your purse is gonna knock something off a rack as you try to squeeze through racks. They're they may not necessarily be larger than a Sears or a JCPenney, but the layout is for a less crowded feeling. So there's plenty of space in between all the different racks and tables. I remember the one in Chandler as having a baby grand piano when it first opened, and I believe Nordstrom stores used to have them. The one in Fashion Square doesn't have the same look as the one in Chandler, but it has 3 floors instead of 2, and it's got its own little restaurant type of deal in there, in addition to coffee bar at the mall entrance. Nordstrom rack, you won't expect that, but it's not like the store is all that dirty or anything. That's probably where you'll see the racks up more of a Walmart spacing or a Target spacing. Not as wide open in between the racks. And then Last Chance is sort of like the bottom level of Nordstrom, because I believe the Rack and Rack Room shoes are selling merchandise that may be overstock or discontinued, or unless it's just simply a discount brand with, well, I wouldn't say discount brands inside the store, because I've seen brands that I've never seen just going through a Sears or whatever, or even a Macy's level department store, stuff like Diesel, and all sorts of fancy kind of shoes. But here at the Nordstrom at the Nordstrom Last Chance, they're selling the return merchandise that is still, I guess, in enough of a sellable condition. Apparel and accessories, shoes. When I was in high school, Doc Martens were like $30 here. And, if you look, you may find some pretty decent Doc Martens that don't look too bad. I guess you don't have to go through the pain of breaking in a brand new pair if they've been returned and worn once, after being worn once, because the shoe has been moved around a little. But that is in the basement, just in front of the Mervyn's Mall entrance. I think there's some sort of coffee stand in there too, and it does look kind of like it was a pretty ugly mall, but and it's funny because there's the Off-Broadway shoe store, and it does have a mall entrance, I believe, in addition to an exterior entrance to the walkway outside. If you were to look along the side of that store, you'll see these old style window displays that can be opened up and dressed up. They don't make them like that anymore. In fact, it seems like you don't really see window displays anymore when it comes to retail. Even the Smitty store my dad worked at back in the 80s had display windows as you walked into the store. But I can't think really of a place where I've seen display windows. Maybe you may still see some sort of advertisement posters, but a display window showing mannequins with apparel, you don't really see that on big department stores anymore. You'll see them along the front windows of an inline store in a mall, like H&M, for example, or maybe at Victoria's Secret, or places like that. You'll see displays, but not in a department store. So that is the present day Camelback Colonnade, formerly Colonnade Mall, formerly Sears-Rhodes Center. This was formerly one big open parking lot up until they built the freeway.